Today on the Boot Guy, we are going to look at the 6-inch Boondocker heritage style boot from Golden Fox Boots. Now the beautiful thing about the Boondocker from Golden Fox, not only is it a really good looking boot and just a very classic and basic heritage style. I mean, now this style was really big right at the end of the 80s into the 90s. This was considered a service boot, and every guy that I knew that worked service back then was wearing a boot like this, whether it was greasy brown leather or high shine black. Always beautiful 6-inch plain collared welted boot, and they always look good. They always had their place. The style is a very respectable style. So let's talk about the Boondocker, and let's take a look at some of the things that make this boot pretty unique and a really good first heritage style boot if you're just getting into heritage style boots. Now stick around to the end of the video because I want to show you a few boot care tips, how to use the brush, and just a really good product for this style of leather. All right, the Boondocker sole. This is a true crepe sole. Some of you guys might call it gum rubber. Some of you guys might call it just gum, but it's a crepe sole. And this type of sole really is what reminds me of old style service boots, because this was a sole you would find on every single style of service boot. If it wasn't this, it was a nylon cork sole that had a beautiful stitch around it. But when guys wanted traction and guys wanted a very soft and comfortable sole, they always went with the crepe. Now, the crepe sole on this Boondocker, Goodyear welt. It's stitched all the way around. So that means if this boot holds up to what you're gonna put it through, you can cut this sole right off at your local shoemaker and have them put anything you want on this boot. It can be a crepe, it can be a nice dress sole. You could probably even swing putting a wedge sole on here and still have it look pretty unique and good. Now, when you talk about boots in this price range and this caliber, companies that try to make something that looks like a heritage boot usually really fall flat. They fall by the wayside. Golden Fox, on the other hand, they really understand the whole boot market and the whole boot genre that is going on today. So when they came out with the Boondocker, they didn't cut any corners. They're using beautiful eyelets, and they're lining the eyelets on the back side and around the collar with a really nice heavy-duty pigskin. But what really stands out about the Boondocker is the way they build the inside, the way they double stitch that welt down, and the Vortex footboard that they're using. It's a beautiful footboard that allows you to put whatever insole you want inside this boot. Now, they're sending this boot along with an okay insole. This insole is much nicer than most stuff you find in heritage boots in this price range, but it's still not the best when we're talking about insoles, because there are some really nice insoles out there. But more than likely, casual boot, wearing it with this insole, you're never gonna have a problem. Now, this greasy, heavy brown leather that they're using on this boot is outstanding. And it's a really easy care type leather. Now, the thing you gotta remember about leather like this though, when it's this greasy and it's this hand, is that it scars easy. But when leather like this scars, it only takes on the patina of your own personality to the boot. Now, you shouldn't try to keep this thing too clean. When I say clean, I mean using saddle soap and stuff like that on there, probably not the best thing. All you want to do is keep this thing really conditioned with boot conditioner, or you want to keep it really oiled up with some sort of mink oil or a product like that. But the two key things I found that have made this boot outstanding and kept them looking real nice is this Armstrong's Brooklyn leather conditioner and a brush. The brush on this leather, these two things create the perfect marriage of creating your own personal boot, because the more you brush this boot, the better it looks, because you spread the oil around, you knock the dirt out of the stitches, and before long, your Boondockers are going to look like no other Boondockers out there. Now, about the size and the fit on this thing, well, that's where it's a little tricky. I have to say that they run a little big. There's a lot of space right up here in the toe section. It's not so much width space as it is just volume. But all of that can be alleviated by just going down a half size from your normal size Or if you're gonna wear heavier socks in colder climates, you're definitely just gonna go with your size. Now the heel cup, I found that also to be a little big, but that's typical of Golden Fox. So when you first put them on, they're gonna feel a little big. You give them a couple of days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, and before you know it, this boot starts to shape and form around your foot without a problem. Now if you look over to Golden Fox website, the one thing you're gonna see is that they make this boot in a couple different leathers and a couple different finishes. And that's where this boot, being a price range boot, you could actually pick up 2 pairs of their heritage boots for what you would normally pick up 1 pair of the other brand. Now I realize that country of origin and all that comes into play, and a lot of guys don't want to go for something that's not made domestically. But if you're really just buying them for quality, and if you're really just buying them for looks, well, Golden Fox is a great place to go. You get a lot of boot for your money. So that's the Golden Fox Boondocker 6-inch casual heritage style boot with a beautiful classic crepe sole. If you're wearing the Boondock from Golden Fox, hey, comment below. Let guys know what you think about it. And if you're wearing one of the other colors, please comment below. The fudge or the light tan, let guys know how you're taking care of the leather. Let guys know how they're looking. And if by chance you got an Instagram account, let us see your Golden Foxes. Remember, use the hashtag #TheBootGuyReviews on your Instagram account whenever you're showing off your boots, especially your Golden Foxes or anything that's heritage. If you want to see some of the detailed photos of the Boondocker that I took while I was shooting this review and just spending some time with this boot, stop by thebootguy.com. There I will have all the photographs and a nice blog posting titled The Boondocker by Golden Fox. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. It really helps out. And remember, if you're on Instagram or Twitter, you can always follow me there. Hey, if you're about to pick up a pair of these Golden Fox Boondockers and you just got some questions about size, fit, style, leather care, just stuff like that because it's your first pair of heritage boots, feel free to shoot me over an email. Let's talk about whether or not the Boondocker is going to be the right version of boot for you from Golden Fox, because they make a lot of different boots that are really nice. And for the price range of the Golden Fox line, you get a lot of boot.